Alright folks, as you saw from the start of the video, I finally have my hands on the Hush Pinnacle bow, and I am very excited about it. This bow is very strong, and I'm going to put it through its paces today. I'm going to take it into a bunch of different lost sectors and talk about how it feels, why I like it, what I don't like about it, and just have a conversation about the weapon. Before we start though, the Pinnacle trait on the bow is called Archer's Gambit. Hipfire precision hits grant a massive draw speed bonus for a short duration. This trait is very exciting and very fun, but it's very difficult to use at its peak efficiency. And we're gonna see that right now, because it's gonna be very tough for me to talk and shoot this thing accurately and quickly at the same time. So let's go in. We're fighting some Fallen first. And Fallen can be a little bit difficult to fight with any precision weapon because they move around a lot and their heads are kind of tiny. But once you get into a good groove, they're not so bad. They're far from the worst enemy type that you could possibly fight with a bow. So once we get that Archer's Gambit on our weapon, we just want to fire as quickly as possible. We don't want to stop. We don't want to try to, line up our shots. We just want to go. Even if we miss, because Archer's Gambit is reducing our draw time so significantly, our follow-up shots are going to be quick. So we just never really want to delay our shots. So once we get Gambit on, we just go for it. And that right there is the toughest thing about the bow, is keeping the pace and keeping a flow to it. If you've used a bow with Archer's Tempo, the flow is significantly slower, but it's still there, and getting accustomed to that pacing is much easier than getting accustomed to the maximum pacing that's available with Archer's Gambit. It's very quick, but once you get up to speed, it's so satisfying. Once you adjust to that speed, you're firing at what feels very close to the pacing of an aggressive hand cannon. With that in mind, I'm going to pull out of my collections the Strum. This is an aggressive frame exotic hand cannon, and we're going to fire that at a couple of enemies just to look at the pacing of it, and then we're going to switch back to the Hush and see what the pacing is like with Archer's Gambit. Okay, we are approaching a new lost sector, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to fire this 110 RPM hand cannon at its maximum fire rate, and then we're going to go in and do the lost sector, and I'm going to try to use Archer's Gambit and the Hush at its maximum potential fire rate, and I want you to just kind of feel that difference in the RPM. So here we go with the 110 RPM hand cannon. And now let's bring out the Hush and try to fire it as quickly as we can. The first shot is obviously going to be a little bit slow because we have to activate Archer's Gambit, but after that, we can start cooking. We can start getting those headshots as fast as we can. Now, one of the hardest things to do with this bow is when Archer's Gambit is active, you're trying not to release the string too soon, because if you do, then you end up with a weak arrow shot. So you have to make sure that you're getting it in that perfect draw as quickly as you can. You never want to slow down. All right, we're going to do one more lost sector, and I'm going to try to push the bow as far as I can go, but I will say a few notes about it, what I like about it, what I don't like about it. The main thing that I enjoy about it is obviously Archer's Gambit. It is so quick when you get this perk going, and that's fantastic. The biggest dislike is opening shot. This trait doesn't make complete sense. I get what they were going for. Your first shot is the shot that's going to trigger Archer's Gambit, and opening shot tries to ensure that that shot is a headshot. But I don't really feel it. I don't really notice it. What I would have preferred is a consistent boost to hipfire accuracy from the hipfire grip mod, or even something a little bit silly like explosive head. Another one of my dislikes for the weapon is mostly preferential, but it is an energy weapon, and because of that, I cannot pair it with any fusion rifles, and I love fusion rifles. I think they're so cool. The loaded question is one of my favorite weapons in the game, but unfortunately I have to make a choice between using that and the Hush, and for right now, the Hush is taking the place of the loaded question. But really, that's pretty much the gist of it. There's not much I don't like, and the stuff that I don't like, I kind of accept it and deal with it. It's not a perfect weapon by any stretch of the imagination, but it's really good. And, well, I'm going to take it for a spin. Let's do it. got a couple of missed shots in there, but that's okay. Can't have perfect accuracy. Thankfully, the 7 seconds of Archer's Gambit is probably the best thing about the bow. Archer's tempo only lasts for about 2 seconds, so it can be a bit harder to keep it up 100% of the time if you're having trouble hitting your headshots, but the 7 seconds of Archer's Gambit means you can go into a lull in combat, and then by the time you re-enter combat, you're still going to have that lightning fast draw. But you got to hit your shots in order for that draw to be meaningful. Alright, I think the boss is the only enemy left. So let's... Oh, no, we got one more. Let's try not to die here. Let's put up a rift. And try to keep him staggered by just firing the bow as fast as we can. This rhythm is very, very tricky to maintain. Because it's so quick. I usually end up firing just under what's perfectly optimal, just under the fastest speed that you can achieve with the bow. Now, I'm sure some of you are interested in how this bow performs in the Crucible, but I am most certainly not the person to show that off because I'm not all that great at the Crucible. But I'm gonna go do a match. If it goes horribly wrong, you're never gonna see it. If it's great, then you will see it. So let's try it out. Alright, and there we go. The Hush performed pretty well on all fronts. The Crucible match was a little bit on the boring side because the opposing team was fighting at extreme ranges, so I couldn't make all that much use of the hip fire, so we didn't see any really crazy Archer's Gambit plays. But in PvE, this thing was destroying enemies. When in the proper range, nothing stands a chance. It's just headshot, 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 boom, 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 kill, kill, kill. Feels fantastic, and I am definitely not regretting all the time I spent grinding for it. If you enjoy bows in Destiny 2, this is the way to go. If you don't enjoy bows, this could turn you around. You could enjoy it a little bit more because it does feel quicker. It does feel more like a hand cannon than the other bows that fire very slowly, but if you don't like bows, then you probably won't care all that much about the Hush. But I will say it's a weapon that I am glad to have in my collection. It's very cool. On that note, the next video that is going to come out on the channel for Destiny 2 is going to be my official overview of the Hush. It's probably going to be a little bit more dramatic than it needs to be, but I'm excited to make one of my super fancy curated overview videos because I haven't made one of those for a long time, and this bow is the perfect chance for me to do that. So stay tuned for more. As always, if you enjoyed this video and you'd like to support the channel more than you already do just by watching, liking, subscribing, and commenting, you can head over to patreon.com/iBluairJgR. The name of the game is Destiny 2. The name of the channel is iBluairJgR. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.